Hello everyone, welcome to a new market update. I'll try to make this quick and take a look at all the main charts and see if everything is still going well despite yesterday's drop. First of all, in terms of levels, these were the key levels that I said I would like to, BTC to hold, and I mentioned these potential wicks offering some support here around 100k. It seems to be the case for now. I didn't want to see this head and shoulder formation. We could potentially fill this candle that I said it didn't fit the current weekly cycle and daily cycle. This would be just the low for continuation. Otherwise, the weekly cycle would lose too much momentum. We would chop around, accepting below 102.5. And that would, in my opinion, validate this weekly cycle and would make it worse. But that could have just ended in a complete retest of the MA. I don't know if we're gonna do that or not. I think we shouldn't, and this would just have to revert here with the new daily cycle. Let's go back to the daily chart. We're trying to, I said yesterday before this daily candle that I wanted to see the weekly close about 102.5 at least. And as you know, until we reclaim 106.5 more or less, we can say we're back. That will probably coincide with the RSI MA cross. And what I wanted to say about the stock RSI, that you don't see me often draw the divergences with the stock RSI, but I use it for a reason. And in this case, we can see that the stock RSI, which is more sensitive than RSI, that's why it fluctuates more, it didn't really buy this drop, which is something meaningful in my opinion. Because if this was like a real drop and not just the typical capitulation to end the daily cycle in this case, it would have been reflected here, but it wasn't. The same way these potential various divergence that was slightly invalidated, but we could say was extended divergence right pretty much before the end of the daily cycle, we can see the stock RSI wasn't buying that move either. It looked like exhausted, not like the previous ones, right? So that's why you could say that this was potential top. I said I wanted to see a various divergence to say the weekly cycle is over. And that's what I'm playing, right? The weekly cycle, I play high time frames. So when I see clear divergence on the daily like we saw here, I will start thinking about exiting my positions. But I still think that will happen at 135, I think it is the next Fibonacci level. If we compare it with the previous all-time high breakout here with this rejection, we can see that the stock RSI did the same thing. And RSI as well, pretty much like flat, slightly invalidated by the stock RSI wasn't really buying it. We held the lows pretty much like here, and then we resume with the next cycle. We can see the perfect 60-day cycle here with the low and this potential bullish divergence here. We don't have such a big one, but we are building now one, so perhaps that's enough to mark the bottom, and now we resume upwards. This 16-day bar, sorry, it's I want to compare it to the 2017 all-time high break that happened in 2020, because I posted recently that still it's quite similar in terms of time, right? Because we can see from the potential break to our current situation until we break again. For now, it's been 16 days. If we go take a look before to what happened in 2020, we can see that it took from the initial attempt to finally breaking above it, it was 24 days. Okay, with a bullish divergence here building, holding the lows, this high turned out support from running, higher low, compressing, and then we broke above. So all good in that sense. From the 200 perspective, we can see the daily is still holding perfectly, nothing to worry about. I don't think it should revisit it. It would coincide with the filling this candle that I said 297 more or less, but that's something I don't expect. However, if we take a look at the breakout here, we can see again that it didn't really retest in 2020, right? However, the 4-hour is a little bit more interesting. You can see it's fighting to reclaim it now, make this a fake out to fake everyone out. And for now, the lower band seems to be, the reclaim seems to be in progress. This would be a real strong fake out. We saw that in Q4. We had that breakout, a fake out here as well, potentially lower low with a lower high, and this was just a fake out, the reclaim, and then we started going up. If we take a look at the previous cycle, if we can get there, no, it's impossible here. So I think it's all good for now. This could be just simply a fake out. If we go to total 3, this was the inverse head and shoulder. When you like in real life, you see this kind of breaks, you might think that it's all over, that it's losing structure. That's why we play half time frame, because we have seen this happening all the time. For example, here it was a downtrend, and we have these fake outs here, trapping people, right? If you open the weekly, all that just translated in big wicks, right? So if we close the week above 840, this would just be a week. And for now, it's just a retest of the EMA. Something we have seen here, right? So nothing to worry about when you use the high time frame, right? Remember, all these wicks ended up just being that, wicks. The same way these were rejection, this was just holding, rejection, but so far, nothing to worry about. The daily, we can see something similar with stock RSI. The kind of bullish divergence not buying this drop, so we should come back soon and make it just a fake out. That's what stock RSI is suggesting. It shouldn't just chop around. It should start climbing back and starting the new cycle. From the 200 perspective, it got rejected on Wednesday, and for now it's below. We have seen that before. It's all about chopping. The thing is high, higher low for now. This could just be, a fake. This is the 4-hour. That's why it's not as accurate. But the key is to reclaim the uptrend, and when we lose it, see if it becomes resistance. For now, it's still in an uptrend. From the 200-day perspective, we can see it's fighting currently to regain it. We've seen that plenty of times. Again, Q4, pretty much the same thing, chopping around here, chopping everyone out, but not making new lows, right? We could even argue that total 3 is currently within this range, which is, by the way, the top 24, like March 24 top. And this is just the range with a potential fake out, and as you can see here, the inverse head and shoulder I've been talking about. And this, if it plays out, right, it should, it's just a raw estimation. It should break above and push, right? So far, so good. Others, pretty much the same thing. Stock RSI, not buying this. You can see Stock RSI is doing the same thing for all major charts. Not printing a lower low, which would be a different scenario. So far, so good. Holding pretty much this area and holding the range. Nothing to worry about in my opinion. From the 200 perspective, pretty much like total 3. Breaking below the 4-hour, which is more choppy. But we saw that in the final flash here in Q4 before running back up. The daily, pretty much the same. It's a bit lower than total 3. Others normally lag and show weakness, and then they are the last to outperform and perform bigly right at the end of the leg. So again, nothing we haven't seen yet. Like the difference with Sama, why I think this could either take longer or be a smaller weekly, like the Q4, not the real push, like for 6 months, like we saw Q4, is this. The accumulation here above the 200 was from pretty much July to October, a few months chopping, and but always above. With this new accumulation rate, this was a launchpad. We are not seeing that right now. It's pretty much like Q4, which reinforces my idea that I've been saying for quite some time of this just being a regular weekly cycle, not the real strong push we could expect from altcoins. BTC dominance is also suggesting that. It's still climbing, but unable to make a higher high, even despite this recent drop, right, from BTC and all the markets. You could argue there's some weakness, and the same way stock RSI didn't buy the drop from other markets, it seems not to be buying this push by BTC. It seems like, this is my interpretation, okay? This is just like a collateral push from BTC when everything gets choppy or confusing and messy. This something BTC dominance normally do, like this fakes until the price resolves again. So for now, I wouldn't worry much. The key is not making a high. Let's see if the wick closes below the Fibonacci level. From the 4-hour perspective, what we can see is this overheated stock RSI, pretty much like it was here, and we could still argue there's a potential top here RSI. I mean, I don't think this matters much for now. The key is not making a high. I think that's relevant for high time frame, which is what we play weekly, threatening to push back. Strong candle. Let's see how it all closes. We saw that in Q4. I've said that many times. The key here is for our altcoins not to drop that much. Is for BTC dominance not to make a high. It could make it, yes, but I still think it has picked this cycle. We'll see. I mean, just 60 something, 65. I think 65.38, something like that is the top for now. Doesn't really matter. I think this is just a matter of time. The altcoin charts look good for our weekly cycle push, and then we will reassess. USDT dominance. I posted that if it's decided to push again, it should be rejected here, 495. And so far so good. Again, stock RSI, this is the daily, not buying this impulse. You can see that here in this impulse, it did follow through, right? But here it didn't. From Saturday to yesterday, like a whole week, it didn't buy it. So that's something. I mean, you could still argue that this bearish divergence is still in play, but this is already like too far away, in my opinion. This is more recent. This is more reliable, in my opinion, to assess what might come next. And we want this to fully reverse, and this just mark the cycle low flash, right? So we'll see. Remember, the market cap keeps increasing, and that is something we have to bear in mind, as I say, when we measure the levels for USDT, as every percentage drop is not the same when the market cap is higher. So there's more money in the same kind of percentage drop, right? So nothing to worry about yet, but we are, as I said, dangerously close when we have this kind of flashes and retest of high time frame levels. It always looks scary. Remember the bottom back in April. From the 200 moving average perspective, we can see, I said it could retest the upper band. It has, and for now it's rejecting with just a fake above, which is something we saw here in Q4. October, it tried once, tried again, but it was a failure. We need to see that. Again, it was rejected at 495. That should be the call for reverting here, right? If we take a look from the 4-hour, it's it's broken above it, but it should be a fake out the same way it was here, right in Q4, if we want BTC to run and not just retrace again. From this chart, I'm gonna check the 4-hour, and what I see is this completely rollover when it was really overheated. We could even argue that this was the basis, but not really clear. So the thing is, it's rolling over from overbought levels, so it should break here and perhaps give us final relief for 4.5 again. We'll see, but for now, going back to 475 is something we should see, and perhaps that means BTC is getting back to 105, 106. We need to see that. Again, it all looks like a daily cycle low flash. Nothing to worry about yet. It's holding key levels, right? The only fear was this inverse head and shoulder. I don't want this just to be a bounce from oversold levels and fake out. I like that it's the daily that it's marking this divergence and not just the 4-hour, because that could be just a bounce and a fake out. So we want to reclaim this relatively soon. We can't just chop around, because if we start showing weakness here around 102.5, that would really open the door to this 96, 97 level, and that's something we don't want to see. So for now, all good. Let's see how the week ends. I posted yesterday that perhaps, very likely, the Elon Trump kind of fallout would resolve with just a call, and I mean they need to understand each other and to cooperate. It's harmful for the US and for all their personal plans. So and I just retweeted a post that Tesla has climbed like 8-9% overnight just because of the headlines, the news that they were gonna have a call today to fix it all. It was predictable, right? Is this every time there's drops, there's some bearish news that make you think we are going to collapse. The same way when we reach the top, everything will look like new governments buying, new countries buying, the reserve is going to be bigger than expected, whatever narrative. But we will keep track of charts. That's what we should keep doing, because as you can see, everything is here. We don't need anything else, just perhaps using headlines and news as confirmation. So until the market fully reverses, I will just leave you with this update. And until then, take care.